What's going on, guys? We're going to do a little Josh Allen film breakdown here. Not decided yet if I want to put this up on YouTube or keep it as a Patreon exclusive. So we're going to do Josh Allen here, and right now it's time to decide if we want to make him our number 2 edge guy or our number 3 edge guy. Right now I have him as number 2. I do like Rashawn Gary a lot. Incredibly different players. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I think if you're a 3-4 team, I'd put Josh Allen ahead of him. And then if you're a 4-3 team, I'd rather take Rashawn Gary. Both really great athletes. I think both are very raw, but I do think that Gary is less raw than people want to make it out to, and I think Josh Allen is a lot more raw than people want to make that out to. A big reason for that is, as you can see here, Josh Allen, he plays a lot of like off-ball, slot corner, and we're watching this game because he has 12 total pressures in this game by PFF, so we're going to kind of see how my theory holds up. That obviously he has good reps on the edge when he lines up on the line of scrimmage. Like even here, he's probably an edge rusher, but they do a lot of like looping him and doing these crazy blitz packages where he gets a lot of good sacks and pressures, and it makes the stat sheets look good. But in terms of evaluating him as an edge rusher, that doesn't really do anything for me. Like that's the kind of stuff that like the Vikings do with Anthony Barr, which by the way right now is my comparison for him. So, we're going to kind of really focus in on his reps when he lines up as a traditional edge rusher. How does he play the run? He's a little taller and lengthier. That's why I like him as a 3-4 outside linebacker. But when he comes out and plays like slot corner or off-ball linebacker, like we know he's got good movement skills. He's going to be an elite coverage guy for an edge rusher, but you don't take him in the top 5 to be a coverage edge rusher. That's kind of my big criticism of him, is that yes, he had this great sack production, but from what I've seen, and that could very well change here, we collect new information all the time, but he just does not have the everything you look for from a pass rush perspective. The Khalil Mack comparisons drive me insane because he doesn't have the power nearly that Khalil Mack has. He does not have a lot of power. He's got great speed off the edge, great explosiveness off the ball. He's got good length to kind of shrug off blocks. He has pretty good bend. I've not been blown away by his bend. But he also doesn't have a ton of counter moves from what I've seen either. So, and as a speed rusher, you want to see a lot of finesse in his game. So let's get started after all of that. So he gets chipped here, but not a lot of power there. But we won't knock him for that, getting chip blocked. Here's a run defense rep, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. He's 6'5", 260, a little taller. So, he is going to have guys getting under his pads, driving him back. He's not going to be as good of a run defender as Rashawn Gary, but run defense is not as important as getting after the quarterback, obviously. So this is a lot of they run a lot of schemes. It's another kind of knock I have on Josh Allen. It's just, you don't get a ton of traditional edge rush reps from him. And if he doesn't get sprung open on these, you can see he meets a guard and he just gets kind of stonewalled there. He just doesn't have a ton of power to him. That's why the Khalil Mack things just drive me insane because, if anything, he's more Von Miller than Khalil Mack. I don't know where the Khalil Mack stuff comes from myself. Maybe it's because of the blue jerseys. So here in run defense against a tight end, he gets blocked pretty well, and then that comes his way, and he's able to get off. So here he is in sort of a... That's an offensive lineman out there. So he's, in a way, an edge rusher here. I don't know. I don't really care about these reps because they're basically... I feel like they're just running this to get Josh Allen away from the ball. But it's stupid because he's got such good ability in space. It's not like this tackle's going to, run with him and make that play. It's just dumb by South Carolina. So these are kind of wasted reps. I don't really care what happens in these plays. To be honest... And we might be able to see from those last plays some coverage reps. But like I said, we know he's going to be a really lengthy, athletic cover guy. Like, you're not asking an edge guy to be some super smart zone coverage defender. If you're dropping him into coverage, it's usually hover around here, kind of take out the first guy you see. He's athletic and lengthy. He's going to be fine in coverage. Now, if you want to take him to be like Anthony Barr and play off ball, that's a different story. But I don't think that's going to happen, because you just can't, like we've seen with the Vikings, I just don't think it's worth it to grab an edge guy in the top 10 and then convert him to off ball. So here he is with his hand in the dirt as like a wide 9 technique. Comes screaming in. There's a good little, like, that quickness is a really nice counter move for him. He kind of steps inside, and then he's able to plant that outside arm and shrug himself off the block. Where is he? I think this is him. So this is actually an off-ball linebacker position. It is close. By PFF, we do a yard and a half is the what you would qualify as an edge rusher. If you're lined up, like standing up, you have to be within a yard and a half of the line of scrimmage. His foot's right at about a yard and a half. We would look at that foot. So, that, is kind of borderline edge rush, outside linebacker. First and 10, it might be a run, but you will see a lot of schemes here where they'll slant that D-line out. They'll slant these guys in. They'll loop Allen around. He's coming off the edge there. And when he is lined up that far off, it puts him at a disadvantage. It's just kind of a weird, you don't see a lot of that. You never see that in the NFL, but even in college, you don't see a lot of that, because you're already a yard and a half away. This tackle has time to get back in his drop, and when you're a speed rusher, it's not going to help. So here he is, closer to the line of scrimmage. All right. Don't care. Not much to really see here. They ran away from him. But again, I would never knock him for this play, but just a note that he just doesn't really get a lot of push there. You don't see a lot of power. So here he is. He kind of creeps in and then ends up lining up as an edge rusher. But he had started as an off-ball guy. So I want to I'm trying to get to the point where he has 12 pressures in this game. You can see him kind of get blown off the ball there in a goal line situation. Again, kind of slot corner here on a tight end. I would not list that as an edge rusher. Sure enough, he dropped into coverage there. Let's see these pressures. So here, he was looped on this, right? No, slanted. But kind of cleaning up. That's another thing with him, is he seems to be cleaning up a lot of trash. Now they did kind of draw the double here. This was a good little scheme here, because the tackle gets distracted with Allen, as he should be, and this blitzing corner just screams in. And then Allen is there to kind of flush him back inside. And they get a pick. So the presence of Allen forced that one, but he didn't really do much. again, about 2 yards off the line of scrimmage, not a traditional edge look. Just gonna drop into coverage. Can see the movement skills. So far, nothing has really stood out of him versus the run. It's been mostly him getting locked into blocks, whereas we saw Rashawn Gary really dominate against the run. Just different players. Running away from Allen. Not much to see there. He definitely has good, everything about him is fast. Like, his footwork is fast, his arms, like, he does have really active arms. He has all the traits to develop, like, really nice swim moves and spin moves and be, like, I think the Von Miller comparisons are much more fair, though I don't think he's as bendy. But Khalil Mack just destroys dudes because they're afraid of getting run over by Khalil Mack. You're not afraid of Josh Allen running you over at all. Here's him as a slot corner. Good job setting the edge there. Didn't get blown up. That's his best run defense rep of the day right there for sure. It is impressive. A lot of times you'll see, like, I don't know if I would say this is power. It's definitely just good general strength, like, to not get taken out of this play, because he ends up getting hit by 3 different linemen on this play, and he's still able to kind of sort through the traffic. Now, nothing good really came of that. And again, that's a blitz scheme that they do a lot of. But he did do a good job fighting through those 3 blocks. Coverage rep. Coverage rep. Coverage rep. Coverage rep. You can kind of see there, you can totally see the explosion off the ball, wide 9 technique. Now, this tackle's technique is just awful. He's running so wide there that a lot of tackles will be able to push him out of that play. But really good rep. You can see the speed, explosiveness. The bend here is fine. There's not a lot of dip inside. He's basically just running around him and using that length to get around him, which is fine. But if you want him to be, if you're going to take him to the top 5, you can be a little critical like this. Von Miller at this point, maybe go back a tiny bit. So like I said, a better tackle at right about there, if he has just another half a step, is going to be able to push him out of this, and then this quarterback's going to step up and have a huge lane. Now, Von Miller, what makes him so special is he will either, and this is something I talk about with Rashawn Gary, is not running past the quarterback, right? So when you get to about here, maybe another step in, you have 2 options. You can either bend inside and cut off the step up, or you can spin to the outside. He doesn't really do either of those, which is fine. It's going to work at the NFL too against worse or lesser competition. But a lot of times, Aaron Rodgers is going to see this step up and make a huge play. It's just better competition, and a better tackle is going to be able to push him out. Still a good rep. Again, not really a traditional edge pressure here, but you can just see that he almost sets this up with like a juke. Like he steps inside and just gets the tackle crossed up. The tackle actually looks away for a second, and then Josh Allen's gone. You see that little head bob right there? So, that's a special trait of his, but again, not a traditional like one-on-one rep there. He kind of like came inside for a second. Really good run defense there. Started as kind of an off ball, ended up meeting the tight end. He definitely, he's a little lighter. I mean, he's 260, but a little lengthier. So tackles, I think, will be able to handle him. But he can throw himself around with tight ends, like no doubt. So he's actually trying to go a little power here. Little tall, not extending his arms. Gets kind of locked in. Do you remember Rashawn Gary? He played low. He hit his punches, and he would drive his dudes back. So in this situation, in a bit of a clustered look, he might have been able to bend inside. Like he definitely had the angle to, get in there, but he ends up getting locked in there. Just kind of trying to drive him back, puts his hand up, like not much of a plan on that rush right there. Again, just manhandling a tight end. I don't think he's poor in run defense because he will see a lot of tight ends. Okay, this is a great example of that last pass rush rep we spent so much time on, where we said that a good tackle is going to a lot of times be able to push him out or the quarterback's going to step up. You can see here, he should be able to bend inside and cut this off, right? But instead, he's just trying to run around him. The tackle is able to kind of, push him out of the play because there's not a whole lot else happening. He's just trying to run out there, and he's able to push him out of the play. And this is all stuff that he has the physical ability to develop. But because of how he was used in college as such an untraditional edge rusher, there's a lot of times where he just doesn't exactly know what he's doing, I think. So I love the upside of him. Like, this is special right here. You can see the hand quickness. He's such a good hand fighter. And he's got a good swim move. That's like a swim and club. That's definitely a good rep right there. That's why he has himself in the top 10 right there. It's because of reps like that. Coverage. Loops inside. Gets picked up. Not really much doing there. Probably would have been there for the contain. But he didn't really, drive the dude back. I like him coming off the edge, but I don't like him inside matched up on a guard with a low center of gravity. Like, he's just kind of stuck there. I like him on the edge running around guys. I don't like him on the inside trying to run through dudes. Whereas I think Rashawn Gary, on the other hand, you'd be more comfortable in that situation. This time he gets beat. We've seen some good run defense reps. You're not going to win them all. Quick first step. Elite first step. Which you don't always see, by the way, for an outside linebacker. But again, he runs past the quarterback. Doesn't bend inside. I mean, he tries to. He tries to there. He lowers his left hand, tries to bend inside, but he's a little tall. A little tall. The elite bendy guys, when they try to bend right there, their heads below the shoulder pads, and their hips are low, their knees are bent. He's trying to bend through there, but he ends up running way past the quarterback, gets pushed out of the play. So far, most of his wins have been running to the outside and then that, using that hand fighting to win, which is fine. That's a good trait to have. And he does a good job spinning back inside, too. That's the first time we've seen that today. I thought he's had opportunities to do that on some of those other reps we looked at. He's been pushed out of a couple plays now, so he knows, okay, I got to spin back inside. That's good. That's good awareness. Because he's going to be getting to that point a lot where because he's a speed rusher. So he's going to be getting to this point a lot. So it's about what he can do when he gets to this point, whether it's bending or spinning or swimming, because he doesn't have a lot of power. He's not going to, plant that left arm and drive him into the quarterback. So he's either going to have to bend, which I honestly think his bend is a little underwhelming. But he has really great ability to either just beat him around the edge straight up against worse tackles, but he's going to have to consistently spin back inside because he's going to end up in this situation a lot where everyone else is getting blocked and he is wide out here. But again, he gets kind of flushed out, doesn't really do much after he was unable to run past him. And that's been kind of that's a good angle right there. That's been kind of his move is either a rip or we've seen that club. So he's got a couple nice moves. But we need to see more counters. You can't always beat the guy in the first move. This is, is this his first sack of the game? I can't remember if he's gotten a sack to this point or not. This is why I say sacks don't matter. Like, he didn't beat his guy off the edge to get this sack. That's just a poor, really just piss poor protection. You can see them yelling at each other. They didn't know what they were doing there. So, take one of his sacks away already. His 17 sacks or whatever. Like, whatever. That doesn't do much for me. We know he's quick and fast. So is Vic Beasley. This time he ends up getting his guy on the ground. Was this, Jesus. Can tell you right now that Teron Armstead, David Bakhtiari, Tyron Smith, that's not going to work against them. I don't even know what to say here. I can't even figure out what happened. That tackle just fell over. He was just like ripping and hand fighting, and the tackle just fell over. Here we go. Just gets caught leaning, stops moving his feet. Not sure why we're in slow motion here. All right. Again, not a whole lot going on once he gets to this position. When I say he's not as refined as I'd like, that is the exact position I'm talking about right there. Schemed, gets kind of stonewalled. Can see the lack of power. Coverage rep. Not much to see here. So here he gets to that position we're talking about. And he tries to kind of power inside. He got a little movement, got a pressure. We'll take it. Good rep here. This time he bends early. See that helmet level's a little lower. He bends earlier, and he's able to get there a lot faster than when he tries to go to the outside. If he can do that more consistently, as opposed to just kind of running the outside without a plan, going to be in business. Gets pushed out again. Let's see. See, like, how often with quarterbacks with better footwork do we see Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, even Tom Brady just step up a couple steps, and this tackle's going to get the angle, and then all of a sudden he's going to have all day to do whatever he wants because he runs past the quarterback. Or, you know, he's not able to bend up inside there. Now, he is dominant at getting this position. He has a rare ability to get to the edge. It's almost every snap, he's the one in the backfield, you know, doing this. But there is a massive step-up lane because of this. And if he can't, you know, I would say 15% of his reps so far, he's been able to cut off the step up or get a sack. Everything else has been a situation where he's going to get just pushed out of the play. You know, when you run wide outside like that, it looks pretty. Don't get me wrong. It looks like you're getting downfield, you're getting after the quarterback, but there's a reason he's in that position almost every single snap. Like, you are really jeopardizing your contain when you do that. So if he isn't going to be able to spin inside and bend, I think you could see a lot of quarterbacks getting big scrambles, big play extensions against him. But if he can learn to have that contain and pair it with his ability to get the edge like that right there, then you're talking about Von Miller. Good bend. That's probably his best rep of the day right there. Good bend. Able to get in there. Yeah, I would say that's his best rep of the day right there. This will be a good angle too. Now, I'm not trying to rip on him. He's got really nice traits. I got top 10 grade on him. A lot of people put him as a, you know, the big three, they call it, with Quinnen Williams and Nick Bosa and Josh Allen. It's like, I think he's really good, but I think he's a lot closer to like Leonard Floyd was coming out than Khalil Mack that a lot of people want to compare him to. So that's going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to put this up on YouTube or not, or leave it Patreon. I'm definitely going to do Patreon first. But if this is up on YouTube, hit that like button. If this is Patreon, thanks again, my friends. And we'll see you for the next one. Peace out.